All right, after owning a G85 for almost 8 months now, I'm actually in the market looking for lens. Now, before I get to that, I already did do a little bit of work on that, and I ended up picking up a K&F Concepts lens adapter. Now, if you were watching my Instagram some time ago, I actually showed off a picture of this. I showed off a picture of what it looked like with the lens that we're actually going to be pairing it with today, just to show off kind of what that image looks like of me with using the K&F lens adapter. We're going to talk about pretty much my experience with it and its ease of use and just a few little features, and then we're going to get on with me talking about what is my plan as far as lens goes for this camera and why do I want to purchase whatever lens that I'm trying to. Have you guys noticed the expense of the stock kit lens for the G85, the 12 to 60? $400. Somehow that kind of just, it kind of took me back a bit that the actual stock kit lens that comes with this camera, which actually doesn't cost much more than what they're charging for the kit lens. Let's get into it. All right, I got you guys set up for on the Rokinon 14mm. The difference in sensor sizes is the reason why the camera is way back there in order to have all of this in actual focus. You wouldn't have to do that if it was put on the camera it was meant for, which is a D3100. I believe it's a aps-c format camera. The sensor is bigger than the micro four thirds sensor, and so the lens right now is having like a crop factor zooming thing going on, and this is something you have to adjust for if you want to use a lens adapter. All right, so when you're using your lenses on other cameras that have different sensor sizes, this is the kind of thing that you're going to go through. So I'm not going to stay here forever. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can see this and understand what to expect when you're trying to use a lens adapter and try to adapt lenses that are made for different sensors onto another camera. There really hasn't been anything wrong with the lens adapter at all. It works fine. In my later full experience review with the G85, I will include some pictures and videos and stuff like that using the lens adapter, just so you can see that in a proper setting and not in just some cooped up office. Let me switch back to the stock kit, bring you in so we can have more of a talk. One thing I want to point out about the K&F lens adapter solution, pretty much, it is a very affordable one. If you think about other lens adapter solutions that is usually recommended, the one that you usually hear all the time, especially if you're talking about the Sigma 18 to 35, is the Metabones solution, and that is great, but it is also about $600. And there's a reason for that. It gives you an extra stop of light. It does a little bit more, if not a lot more, than what the K&F is doing for you, because the K&F, at least the one I have, is just adapting the lens to the camera. It doesn't really add anything to it per se. It doesn't give you an extra stop of light or something like that. The Metabones does a little bit more for you. This one, not so much. So there's a reason for the huge difference in price between these two solutions. Whether K&F offers things that are more equivalent to what the Metabones does, which is the Metabones Speed Booster does, then I do not know at this current time. Beyond the whole sensor difference, which I showed you guys already, you also have to adjust to the fact that most of the time when you use a lens adapter, you are in manual all the way. Even if the lens has autofocus capabilities, it probably only has that on the native body it was meant for. So when you use a lens adapter, you pretty much kill that and you have to manual focus everything on your own. Not a big deal. It's just something that you need to know when you're using the lens adapter. So let's go ahead and get on the PC behind me and do a little look on Amazon, and I have a short chat with you guys about what's in my head and what lenses I really want to get for my G85 and why. All right, here on the PC we are, and we're here in my Amazon here. Okay, so the first lens that I was looking at for my camera is pretty much what you would call the equivalent to the Sigma 1835. This will be the micro four thirds. The micro four thirds equivalent is the Panasonic 12 to 35 millimeter lens. This is an f2.8 lens. The Sigma is 1.8. And of course, you see this is 2.8. So the Sigma 18 to 35 is a little bit better in low light than this lens is, but that shouldn't put you off from getting it. One point blank and period, it is definitely better than the stock kit lens, and it will also be better for both your head shots. If you're like me that does a lot of head up talking videos, and also it'll be good for going in for your product shots when you're just trying to go up close and show people details. This lens is pretty much good at both ranges, so it's what you would call like an all-rounder. Every YouTuber needs an all-rounder kind of lens that they can use for almost any scenario. This will be that one. The next one that I've been looking at is a 45 to 200. Now this I'm not sure about. This will be further down the road. It's just because I already have if I get the one I just talked about, the 12 to 35, that will cover what I need in the lower range for lenses. And now I need something that gives me a little bit of reach beyond that 35 millimeter, or what I say beyond the 60 millimeter, which is the longest I can go right now. Range, and this will be the lens that I will use to do that, a bit of 45 to 200. I don't really need much longer than this because honestly trying to get any longer than this will be quite expensive and also just really niche. I'll only need a lens like that in certain scenarios. You don't need a lens for every single scenario. You need to own the lens that you're going to use day to day, either on your job or just as your hobby. You need to own those lenses, and everything else you might as well just rent it however you will for just those events that you really need it. Next up is the secondary lens I've been considering. Now, I just showed you the 45 to 200. This is a 45 to 150 millimeter, but if you notice, the price is quite lower. This is only $148, which probably means I'm probably going to get this one. But it is a Vario first edition, and apparently the difference between these two is if you go back to the 45 to 200, it likes to tell you about the motor here. Apparently, there's a motor a motor revision that makes this better. Is this the? Okay. Sorry, I was on the wrong link. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Lumix G2 Vario lens. So apparently, it has harsh weather conditions, it's splash-proof, dust-proof, but also it has faster focus tracking via 240 FPS linear motor. I think that is the difference that makes it to be, $448. I think that's the difference. Honestly, I'm not sure. If someone wants to sound off in the comments down below, I'm definitely interested in why the price is so different between these two lenses when technically it looks like the same lens with just Vario 1 and Vario 2, whatever that is supposed to mean. But this one is for the same reasons. I'm considering it, and honestly, I'm probably going to land on getting this lens because the price. The next one I'm going to talk about is the 25 millimeter f1.7. Prime lenses are always a fave thing of mine because they can get pretty sharp, very, very good images, tend to be better than lenses that vary in range, where they have a range of like a 12 to 35 or anything like that. A prime lens always tends to be sharper. So I tend to lean to those sometimes, especially if you're talking about product shots where I need to get up close and I want to get more detail and show you guys more of what I'm talking about for whatever product I'm reviewing. A 25 millimeter f1.7 would definitely do me well in that scenario. This is not a high priority because, again, the 12 to 35 is an all-rounder, and it can cover scenarios like that as well. Even though it's f2.8, it is still very good. It can still cover that range. So for me, this lens is a top priority. All these other lenses are ones that I am very interested in, but they will come a little bit later down the road. All right, the last lens is probably the next lens I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get a 12 to 35. I really want that lens. And I also want this one very badly. This is what you would call a pancake lens. 20 millimeter f1.7. The only reason I'm attracted to this lens is because of the format, because of the form factor of it being so small and so compact. So I'm really interested to get this lens and check it out. I mean, it might even be, I might just get this first, see how it is. This might be the lens that I use primarily until I get to 12 to 35, because the price is great. And I really think this is gonna give me some great images, great video. So yeah, so next year I'll be aiming to get these in and hopefully upgrade the videos so I can upgrade the video, or upgrade the video quality so I can give you guys better videos, more details and shots and all that good stuff. That is pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to talk about, you guys, when it comes to my experience so far with the Panasonic G85 and the K&F Lens Adapter. I will have a much more detailed review of sorts, just telling you about my overall experience with the camera after now it's going on almost a year that I've owned it, and I've been pretty happy with the results I'm getting out of this camera. Ask any questions you have about the G85 down below, or the lens adapter I talked about today, or anything else centered around the G85 and lens and all that kind of stuff, or any other questions you might have about the channel. I hope you guys did enjoy the video and found it informative and helpful for you if you are looking at this camera to purchase it and any of those other details. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos. I have anime sometimes and tech definitely all the time right here on this channel. I'll see you guys in another video. You have a good one. Bye.